Alright, so I'm going to start off with my best list and then do my worst list, but first, real quick, I just want to do the honorable mentions, the films I enjoy, but they weren't quite good enough to get onto my top 10 list, so here we go. We have Box Trolls. It was fun, it was cute and charming. I wish there was a bit more to the story, but it still looked great, and Ben Kingsley was a lot of fun, and Leica is a good studio. Also, next up, Theory of Everything. I'm going to have my written review of that posted on the site soon, so if you want to go and look at it, you can. I thought it was well done, well made. I thought Eddie Redmayne did a really good job as Stephen Hawking. I couldn't quite get invested in it the way I did Imitation Game. Like things just seemed to go his way quite a bit. I mean, it was still an amazing story. I mean, just seeing this guy struggle and everything, but I just didn't care that much. X-Men Days of Future Past. It was fun. I enjoyed seeing the First Class cast again. I enjoyed seeing how they connected to the future story. I love Quicksilver, and I'm glad they were able to fix their franchise. Captain America the Winter Soldier. It had a little too much action for my taste, but there were still so many parts of this movie where it was just fun, and I was just really into it. I really enjoyed Black Widow and Nick Fury in this film. I thought they were used very nicely here, and that was good. 22 Jump Street. Surprisingly, this film was funny, and it satirized like all sequels and reboots, which I'm not too big on sequels and reboots. Guardians of the Galaxy, again, really fun movie. Like, I thought this film was going to suck. It didn't. It was so much fun. I can't remember the last time I had this much fun at a film. I can't remember the last superhero movie that was actually fun and not dark and serious. Top 5, I didn't get to talk about this one. I liked it. Again, my written review. If it's not on the website already, I'm gonna put it up there. And if it's not within like 24 hours, just let me know and I'll put it up there. But it was funny. It was dramatic. It was a really nice character study. Chris Rock was good in it. He didn't let it become an ego film. Like, he let people look at it, take notes, and it clearly shows because this was a good film. It's one of those films where I looked at it and I thought it wouldn't be good, but then like I heard it got good word of mouth. I heard a certain celeb comedian I really like had a quick cameo in it. Not Jerry Seinfeld, the other one. I'll give you a hint. He was very stupid in school. But yeah, it was a fun movie. I surprisingly enjoyed it. Boyhood. It was an interesting film, but I just really didn't care for the last third. I thought it was kind of boring. And Gone Girl. It was really engaging, really well done. Again, it was a book adaptation though, so like it was some parts of it I thought weren't as strong as they could have been. And now on to my top 10 list. Now that I've gotten the honorable mentions out of the way. At number 10, we have Selma. This is a film that I really wasn't that interested in seeing just because it clearly felt like Oscar bait. It was clearly one of those films where it's clearly made for the Academy. I mean, even watching it has like all the things that the Academy tends to like in a film and that quality. It was very much like Lincoln. But surprisingly, I enjoyed it. Like, I mean, it wasn't like an amazing film or anything, but I thought it was, for what they were doing, I thought it was really well done. And I'm really surprised it didn't get nominated, because again, this is like exactly what they look for. This is exactly, it's the exact same style, and like David Oyelowo wasn't nominated, but I still think it's a well-made film. Like, I just saw this to do my Oscar homework, and I was really surprised by how well done it was. At number 9, we have Whiplash. This was another film this is a film I was really looking forward to, and I mean, I was a little let down by it. I thought, not let down so much as I found the message the film was saying to be really, really harsh. But it was still really engaging. Like, I mean, up until like the last third, when it got really, really unpleasant, I was so with it, and I mean, I'll admit it's a lot better than I gave it credit for in my review. I just didn't get it when I saw it initially. Now that I understand, it's like one of those where it's making you question if the ends justify the means. I appreciate it a lot more. And J.K. Simmons was amazing in that. Like, he better get some sort of nomination. But if not, it's the Academy. I rarely agree with them anyway. At number 8, we have The Muppets Most Wanted. I wasn't too big a fan of the last Muppet film, not Muppets Most Wanted, but the one with Jason Segel. I felt it was a little too all over the place, a little too unsure of what it wanted to be, but I thought this one was much more focused. It was fun, it was entertaining. I am so glad I saw this over Divergent. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, but I've just been hearing a lot of mediocre things about it. Actually, I watched a bit of it, and then my computer crapped out on me, but Divergent probably would have fallen like on the worst list. It probably wouldn't have been as anywhere near as good as Muppets Was Fun. It was a fun movie, and if you saw Divergent over it, check it out. It's a fun movie. Number 7 is Mockingjay Part 2. Again, this is a film I wasn't really looking forward to. Like, I really just thought it was gonna be I mean, not because the story's bad or anything, but because like it was the third book, which is my least favorite, and they're splitting into 2 parts, which often leads to it being drawn out. But they rolled with it surprisingly well. I mean, the story was really well told. I mean, it was faithful to the book, and not only that, but it was really engaging. Like, I'm not much of an action fan, but I'm all into this political stuff, and it was just really engaging. And not only that, but I think this is one of the few film adaptations where they're able to keep 99% of the material from the book, and it still flows well. Like, I didn't feel this film drag at all. Probably because they made the smart decision to make this only an hour and 50 minutes as opposed to like 2.5 hours like the other Hunger Games films. Or like the Hobbit films do, which we'll get to Hobbit 3 in the worst list in case you couldn't tell. But yeah, like I can't think of a single scene where I'm like, okay, you could have cut that. This feels like filler. I get that when I watch the Hobbit movies. Here, I can't think of a single thing you can cut. Every scene feels important and necessary and relevant to the plot. It's literally to a point where I don't see how in the world you could have done this as one movie and still made it not feel rushed at all. I mean, all this does is just prove that books aren't made to be done as like a 2.5 hour film. You need time. You need to either split them into multiple movies or go the Game of Thrones route and just do a TV series because, yeah. So, yeah. And they also, Mockingjay ended at a really nice point. They still have a pretty good amount of story left, so I'm not worried that this part 2 is going to drag in. Hopefully this franchise can keep it going one more time, because if they do, they will go out on a good note and they've already surpassed Harry Potter. Personally, I think The Hunger Games as films, not as books. Harry Potter is still better as books, but as films, I think they are far superior to the Harry Potter franchise. At number 6 is a film that a lot of people surprisingly didn't like, or they liked it, but they didn't love it, and then there's a bunch of people who just bashed it and said, "Oh, this director's become Shyamalan," and that is Interstellar. I loved it. Like, I thought it was a really great experience. I really liked the ideas being tossed around of science fiction. I love the characters in this film. I really liked Cooper's struggle. I love the visuals. I mean, I thought, okay, it was a little slow to start, and there was that part of me that was kind of annoyed at the ending. Not because I didn't think it sucked, but I wish it had been left a little more ambiguous at the end as to what happened to the characters, both McConaughey's character, the crew he was with, and the people on Earth. And I didn't like how it just wrapped everything up. I would have preferred it more Inception, whereas if things were left a bit more ambiguous, and if it threw out questions as opposed to just, giving us questions and then answering them. But I still had a blast with this film. I thought it was really engaging. I don't think it was Nolan's best, but I still think it was really good. Number 5 is American Sniper. Keep in mind, I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything about his life. And I know there's a ton of controversy about the way he was depicted. But just looking at it as a film, I thought it was really good. It kind of reminded me of Unbroken, where you have this guy at war, but unlike that film, we actually got to know this guy. Like, we saw, like, how and why he wanted to join the army, his morals and values, and we also got to see a bit of what he did after, as opposed to Unbroken, where they just gave us the middle chunk and completely screwed the beginning and end of his story. And not only that, but even when we're in war, like, we get to know his character, and we see just how tough this guy's job is. And yeah, College Humor joke, this is a Navy SEALs recruitment video, and to some extent it is, but, it's really showing how unpleasant war can be at times, and how tough of a job it is, and yeah, it was just really uncomfortable. And again, this film sold out multiple weeks. It's made like tons of money. Like Schmoes Knows said, it's summer blockbuster money, and it is. It's like almost at $400, and it's gonna hit 400 at some point. I mean, it sold out like 3 weeks in a row for a reason, and for good reason. It's a great film. At number 4, we have The Imitation Game. Again, this is a film I was. It was one of of the films I was gonna do for my Oscar homework. This is one of those ones I was looking forward to because it seemed like an interesting story. Also it had Benedict Cumberbatch in it, but I was really surprised. I didn't expect to love it as much as I did, and it wasn't just because of the intense story that they're telling with all the secrecy and stuff. That was engaging, but that wasn't why I loved the movie. I really love Cumberbatch's character. I really connected with his plight. I really got invested in his story. And its message about being different and how it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I thought it was really well handled. And at number 3 is a film that I wanted to see. I thought it was going to be fun, but I didn't expect it to be this high on my list. And it was the first film I saw in 2014, and that is the Lego Movie. Again, it looked fun in the trailers, but never in a million years would I have thought this film would just completely blow away like almost every film I saw. Like, I literally saw this film, I'm like, okay, I am no longer excited for anything else coming out. This just is amazing. And since I've seen it in theaters, I've seen it like 2 more times, and I still love it. I enjoy it more and more each time I watch it. It's funny, it has a heart, it's well put together, it looks great. I am pissed it got snubbed because it was way better. I mean, unfortunately I didn't get to see like the other animated films I was really looking forward to, specifically Big Hero 6 and How to Train Your Dragon 2, but yeah, like, it's amazing. Like, I thought, like the fact that the film that I thought was going to be good wound up being great, I thought was amazing, and one of the biggest and most pleasant surprises of the year. And I mean, it had like awesome cameos, like great sense of humor, great heart. I'm just sounding like a broken record at this point, but I love the movie. But let's just end on this. This is going to be a better Batman and Superman movie than the actual Batman and Superman movie. It has Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman in it, and it's awesome. I doubt the actual Batman v Superman movie will be anywhere near as great as this. Number 2. Well, first off, Her is on here at number. I originally did a top 11 list, but I decided not to put Her on here just because it was released in 2014, but it counted towards the 2013 Oscars. But you know, in the interest of talking about it, since I didn't get to talk about it, I'll just talk about it real quick. It's a film I was really looking forward to. I didn't get to see it in theaters due to its limited release, but when I finally saw it, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I really liked the questions that the film was asking. It was just really a great study of relationships and technology and stuff, and you need to see it. It's like, it should have won Best Picture. But back to this year, since that was in the past. At number 2 is a film that just was so much fun. Like, I was so worried this film was not going to get nominated for Best Picture, and I was really surprised to see this director get a nominee. It is The Grand Budapest Hotel. I've really enjoyed Wes Anderson's take on film. I really like how he really celebrates film and as escapism, as fun, like to take you to these fun, exciting worlds, and there's always this fun, upbeat element to his films that really just celebrates life, and I was really happy to see that in The Grand Budapest Hotel. It's just fun from start to finish. Like I just was laughing, I was smiling, I was grinning, and Ralph Fiennes was amazing as the main character, and yeah, I'm definitely going to watch that film at some point, and I'd highly recommend you see it if you haven't already. And number 1, in case you haven't figured it out already, I know it's kind of obvious, but my number 1 movie is Birdman. I was really looking forward to this film, looked amazing, heard amazing things about it. I kept getting annoyed because it kept Yeah, it had a limited release, so it wasn't until months later when I finally got to see it, and I was after months of frustration, anxiety as to whether or not I'd actually get to see it. I saw it, and man, was it amazing! It was the acting was great. I loved like the insight into like the film industry and celebrities. I thought that was great. I already said Michael Keaton was great. Zach Galifianakis redeemed himself from Hangover sequels, and it was just a great film. Like if it doesn't win Best Picture, I'm gonna be pissed. And that's my best list. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your thoughts on my list below. And if you have a different version of your top 10 favorite films, please leave that in the comments below. I'd be really interested to hear about it. And as always, like, dislike, comment, subscribe, yada 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 yada. Man, my throat's dry from talking too much. And that's it. I'm going to go do my worst list now, and so I'll see you guys then. Until next time, this is JStar60, and I'll see you guys in the worst list. Get ready for some rants.